Welcome back to the channel. We are going to talk about the power of facial expressions today. In the art of communication, one of the most important and one of the most underutilized aspect of the communication is that of facial expression. There is research which says that 55 to 60% of what we speak is purely from the facial expressions. And there are facial expressions which are understood universally across all cultures. And that is why it's very, very important to unlock and understand what these facial expressions are and how to utilize them in your speech. Even when you want to hide your emotions, your face just gives them away. If you're happy, your face shows it. If you're sad, your face shows it. So you can't really hide what you are really, really feeling down under over there in your heart. It all is shown by your face. So let's dive in. Let's understand what these facial expressions are and how and why you should be able to use them in your communication. There are 7 universally accepted facial expressions. Paul Ekman identified these as universal, identified these as culturally cutting across, irrespective of what culture that we're talking about, instantly recognizable. What are these 7 expressions? 1, happiness. 2nd, sadness. 3rd, anger. 4th, fear. 5th, surprise. 6th and 7th are disgust and contempt. All of these facial expressions are there exactly in the same manner across cultures. So that is why these are called as universal expressions. And these are universal because these happen without thinking. These happen without the need for words to describe them. These happen. And when these happen, right from childhood, people are able to identify exactly what they are. And when you are happy, I'm able to identify that you are happy. When you are disgusted, your facial expression gives it away, even if you want to hide it. And I'm able to understand that you are disgusted by something. And same thing goes for sadness, fear, contempt, anger, and all the 7 that I just talked about. So there is universal language going, and it's important for us to understand this language of emotions and facial expressions. Let's take happiness, the first emotion that we talked about. When you're happy, the eyes are wide, face is open, there's a little bit of laughter and cheer in the face, and your eyes squint a little bit up, and sometimes there's a good little laughter, a smile playing in the lips, but your face is widened and eyes dilate. That's a happy face for you. Sadness is just the opposite. Drooping eyelids, downturned mouth, heaviness in the face, and the face contracting, not widening, as in the happiness contracting, coming together, closing down. That's the hallmark of somebody sad. And somebody sad may not even want eye contact with you. And aversion to eye contact, avoidance of eye contact is also a good indicator of a person hiding something or sad and therefore not wanting to meet your face. The third one is anger. Anger is very easy to spot. You get a furrowed brow, you get a tense jaw and narrow eyes, ready to confront kind of an expression and very, very intense one. So you can readily, easily spot anger over there. Next one is fear. Wide eyes, open mouth, raised eyebrows, slightly open mouth, body tense as a natural reaction to the threat, all of them indicating fear in the person. Next one is surprise. Surprise is also very similar to fear in the sense that you get a raised eyebrows, you get eyes wide open, and often an open mouth, but you don't get a tense body because there's no tension over there. But remember, this is a very, very micro expression. It lasts a second, split second, and it's gone if the person wants to hide it. But the moment the expression forms, the person cannot but help it to show it off. So you need to be very, very alert to spot a surprise because it can vanish in a moment if the person is very, very alert. But it is there and you can spot it. The next one is disgust, is all about the nose, crunched up, lips curling down, sometimes even a slight hurt turn away. You will notice this when something is unpleasant or revolting. And again, people can't help but show this as a micro expression. So disgust is not only to things which are nauseating, but also to people where they are not comfortable with each other. That this micro expression comes across very, very easily, even when people want to hide it. The next one is contempt. Contempt is a bit different. It's a mix of superiority, often shown by one corner of the mouth lifting into a slight smirk, paired with an eyebrow raise. And again, some of these are clearly micro expressions lasting for only split seconds, there but not there after a second. And therefore, you need to be very, very alert to spot it. So, these are the expression. These are all seven types of expression, facial expression that people show. And it's not easy to read it, except for sadness and happiness, which are very, very universal, which last for a very long time. Anger is there for everybody to see. But the rest of the expressions are not very easy to spot. Rest of the expressions are not very easy to read. And the question comes as to how can you read these expressions? How can you do that? That's what we're going to see next. So how do you read these expressions? One, simple cue, look for asymmetry. One side of the face showing more emotion than the other side. That's a clear clue that something is brewing in that mind, in that heart. Number two, observe micro expression. Micro expressions are expression which last, which change over from the ready expression on the face, which come and go in a second, split second, and that shows what really is happening in that mind. These are very, very quick, involuntary reflexes, involuntary flashes of emotion before somebody spotted there and masked them. The third one, notice eyes. Eyes are the windows to the soul, as they say, and they say a lot, they reveal a lot. The difference between genuine happiness and a polite smile is a very, very wide one if you can spot them in the eyes. The last one, pay attention to the body language. Face usually doesn't lie, but the body language can completely give you away. And it gives you the context. The way shoulders are drooping or rising, the way the hands are clasped together or unclasped, whether it is a open palm or closed palm, how the person is sitting or not sitting, fidgeting or calm. All of these tell you something is happening in the mind, something is happening with the person's thought process, which coupled with the micro expressions which you can spot on the face tells you exactly what the person is feeling, exactly what is happening or not happening in that face. So you'll be able to read all of this. But the big question is, why should you read these? Why should you even take trouble to figure out all of this? It helps you to understand because people don't really tell you exactly what they feel, exactly what they think all the time. And if you are sitting across a table, if you are sitting with your team, if you're sitting across a table on a negotiating discussion, all of these expressions, when you are able to spot all of these body language, when you're able to read them, gives you valuable clues as to what the other party is actually thinking. If you're having a team meeting and you're asking a question and the team is fidgeting, not telling you, that fidgeting itself tells you that they're not comfortable with the question, not comfortable with the context. So you need to dig deeper. We need to understand what is going on. They're not ready to tell you exactly what is happening. If you're on the negotiating table and somebody is hiding a smirk, hiding a contempt, something is happening over there, and you need to figure out as to why they're feeling contempt. If somebody is showing a disgusted expression in a negotiating table, something is revolting them in the class. Something is revolting them in terms of whatever is put on the agreement or whatever is being discussed as part of the agreement. If somebody is showing sadness, then you need to figure out why they are sad because people are not going to tell you exactly what they are feeling and why they are feeling. But understanding that is the first step towards a good communication, first step towards understanding, first step towards solving the problem so that you can move forward as a team. But all of this begins with your ability to spot those expressions. If you can't spot those expressions, you have lost that micro expression, you have lost that ability, you have lost that moment to understand and address it. That is why you need to be in a position to learn, you need to be in a position to understand, you need to be in a position to spot when these expressions, and a lot of these, with the exception of genuine happiness and genuine sadness and even anger, can be a micro expression at times, or all micro expression. They happen as a flash on the face, and they can be hidden if the person is a good ability of masking his or her emotions. So before they get masked, the emotion is still there in the face. And if you're able to spot, then you will be having that opportunity to dig deeper, having that opportunity to caution yourself as to something more is happening around in this meeting, something more happening around in this discussion, more is happening around this negotiation, and that understanding itself can give you valuable clues. That understanding itself can give you a great advantage over the other party in terms of negotiation. So that is why you need to know, that is why you need to learn, that is why all of this understanding and learning can be very useful to you. So wishing you all the very best in terms of reading the emotions and understanding the emotions, so that all of this learning comes very handy in whatever you are doing. Wishing you all the very best. See you in our next episode.